Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to program your own virtual pet challenge. So you're going to be learning how to create a challenge that is timed. So there will be a timer. You have to complete the challenge within whatever time you set. So for example, within 30 seconds, you will be able to use variables to add measures to your game. You will use costume changes for animation effects. You're going to control variables with events, program conditional statements and loops, customize costumes, add sounds, and utilize different backgrounds. So all sorts of exciting things in today's programming. Now, I want to show you what that actually looks like. So we're going to log on to Scratch, and I'm going to show you the finished challenge, and then I'm going to show you how I made it. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is open up the internet, and in the web address bar at the top, you need to type scratch.mit.edu and press enter, and then over here you'll need to sign in. I've already signed in. You can see my username over here. If you haven't yet signed up, you'll need to sign up first, and if you are a child, you may need a parent to help you with that. So just pause the tutorial and get yourself signed up, and then come back when you're signed in and ready to start. Then what I want you to do is, where you see this search bar at the top, we're going to find the Cartwheels and Creations studio. So you're going to type in Cartwheels and Creations. So you can see it written here, CARTWHEELS space AND space CREATIONS. So Cartwheels and Creations. Press enter. And then it will say nothing found under projects, but if you click on studios, you can see that our studio comes up. So you click on there, and then you can see lots of different challenges, games and tutorials, and some of the games are games that other people who've done the tutorials have added to the studio. And you can see this add projects button here. This will allow you to also add any shared projects that you've created to our studio, which is really lovely. Now today we are going to be creating this virtual pet challenge. You can see there's virtual pet template and virtual pet challenge. To show you what it looks like, I want you to click on the virtual pet challenge first of all, or just watch me if you prefer to. And then it says, select what you want to do for Giga to meet his needs. Do not let his needs get to 0, or you cannot be his owner anymore. If you can meet all of Giga's needs for 30 seconds, oh, spelling mistake there, I'll change that, then you are fit to be his owner and you can adopt him. I'm just going to change that now. While I remember, there we go, seconds, not decans. Okay, lovely. So we're going to click on start and we're going to have a go at this. Hello, if you can meet my needs for 30 seconds, then you can adopt me. Okay, so I can see that some of his needs they started off on 10, now they're on 9. Let's feed him. Oh, there we go, he's had some food. What else does he need? Give him a shower. Okay, so his cleanliness has gone up to 10 now. Energy's running low. He needs to sleep. So he has more energy. I feel thirsty. Oh, quick, give him a drink. And his mood is on 2. Let's play some music to cheer him up. Quick, quick. Ah. Oh no, I didn't quite do it in time. It says you did not meet all of Giga's needs for 30 seconds, so you cannot adopt him. Ah. Okay. Click the green flag to play again. I'm going to have another go. Let's see if I can do it this time. I'm going to get started a bit more quickly. Hello, if you can meet my needs for 30 seconds, then you can adopt me. Okay, so I'm going to start straight away. Let's start with the music, because he was boogieing anyway. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's put his mood up to 10. Let's give him some food. Little sleep. Make sure he's got plenty of energy. He needs a shower. Oh, look, he's showering and there you go. And a drink. Look, he's drinking in the shower. So I'm keeping all of his needs up here. His mood's only on 5. Let's do the music again. Timer's on 23, 25, 5 seconds to go. Come on. Ah. Right, what else? Yes. Hooray. Well done for meeting Giga's needs. You can adopt Giga. Okay, so this is the game that I'm going to show you how to create. When you're doing this game, you can either follow along with me and do it at the same time as I'm doing it, or you can watch first and have a go afterwards. If you get stuck at any point, feel free to pause the tutorial and come back to it. You can also, if you need to at some point, have a look inside my finished game, this one, by clicking see inside, and then you can actually see the programming that I've used. I'm actually going to do slightly less programming with you today because this takes quite a long time to do all of it. You can see that I've got lots of different things going on. This is just the programming for Giga, so there's a lot of it. And the reason that we're going to start at the beginning together, or near the beginning together, is so that I can talk you through every single bit and you can really understand how to do it for yourself. Okay, so if I just go back here at the top and back again, should take me back to the studio. Let's try that again, back again. Okay, so I'm back in the studio and you'll see that there's one called Virtual Pet Template. Okay, now this is what we're all going to be using today. I decided that rather than everybody selecting different pets that have different costumes or different sprites with different costumes, we would all start off with using Giga. And then if you want to have a go afterwards and try with a different pet or a different set of things that you can do for your pet, then that's completely up to you. But for this tutorial, so that we can do it within a reasonable amount of time, if you'll click on Virtual Pet Template, and then you should, I don't have it at the top because it's my project, but there should be a remix button at the top here. And if you can't see the remix button, click see inside and then you should see the remix button. You need to click remix. Once you've done that, it becomes a project that you can actually work on. So I just need to click see inside and you need to click remix. Okay, so you should have the same project as me up on your screen now. And you will see that I've kind of got us started with a few bits and pieces. So I'm just going to tell you what I've done. It's all things that we've done in previous tutorials. So if you have been following me on any of the other tutorials that we've been doing with Scratch, which are still on the YouTube channel, you can go back and check those out. We created an animated greetings card. We created a maze game. We created like a heroes and villains game with scoring and lives. So you've already, if you've done those, you've already learnt some of the skills within Scratch. But don't worry if you haven't done those, that's absolutely fine. I will explain as we go along. Okay, so normally when I do tutorials, I tell you to go to here and choose your own character. But for this particular one, we're going to stick with Giga, and that's because we want to use the costumes that go with Giga. Let me show you what I mean by costumes. When I click over here, it shows me that Giga has more than one look. So Giga has several different looks that you can use. Now, some of these came with Giga, I think A, B, C, and D, and then these extra ones, B3, B2, and so on, I've actually created by just editing Giga. So let's just have a look at some of these costumes. I don't think A and A3 are actually any different, so I'm not sure what I did there. A2 is Giga lying down, so that's his sleeping pose. This one is Giga with a smile. That came with Giga already. On this costume, I just moved Giga's arms and legs out a little bit. So if you wanted to edit a costume, all you do, let me just show you, you click on a part of the character, so his leg, for example, and you can just twist it. So I'm rotating it there. So all I did for this costume is just rotated his arms and rotated his legs. If you wanted to select the whole of Giga to lie him down, for example, then you draw a square around the edge of him like this. So you click and let go, and it selects the whole of Giga, and then you can rotate Giga and so on. So let's just leave him standing. So I'm not playing around with that costume. So let's have a look at the other costumes. We've also got that one where I've just tilted his head slightly and moved his arms and legs slightly differently because I wanted to make the effect of him dancing. So to be able to switch between, say, this costume and this costume. Then we have Giga eating, and we have grumpy Giga. So if Giga's needs are not met, Giga could get grumpy, for example. Okay, so that's why we're going to stick with Giga, because he's got these quite expressive looks that we can use. So if you went at some point chose a different character, you would need to look at what that character's costumes were, and then you would need to edit those costumes to make them suitable So this particular one where I lay Giga down, I then added in some text, just some Zs. So he's snoring away there. Zzz, he's sleeping. Okay, let's go back to the code. So as well as Giga, I've also chosen some other items that I want to have on my page. These are all actually sprites, so they're all things that you can program. We've got a glass of water, a bowl of fruit, a radio, a shower, and a bed. Now these three came with Scratch, so I managed to just choose them from here where it's choose a sprite. The shower and the bed are just clip art that I found off the internet, saved them to my computer, and then can you see where it says upload sprite? I then uploaded them. So you can actually upload images of your own if you want to use your own images. Or you can paint your own images as well. So if you wanted to make a shower yourself, to draw it, you could click on paint, draw a shower and put it there. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do. I also customized my shower slightly. So if you click on shower and then click on costumes, you can see that I've given the shower a second costume. So all I did was took the first costume, right click, duplicate, so you get a second one the same, and then you can just change it slightly. So all I did was clicked on the colour and I chose a slightly different blue, and then I just coloured in some of the drops in a different blue, because again, then I thought what I could do is I could switch between this costume and this costume and this costume, and that way it looks like the water's running if it constantly switches costume. So you can actually play around with costumes with sprites once you've uploaded them. If we didn't want his drink to be water, you could change the colour of it to white if you wanted to make it milk, for example. So you could click on water. Oh, there's an empty glass and a full glass. So you could also make it go empty after he's drank some. But yeah, you could click on here and then you could fill it with whatever colour you wanted to. Anyway, so let's go back to code again. So the reason I chose all of these was because I thought they would be good for meeting Giga's needs. And I'm going to explain how we do that in a moment. First of all, the other thing I want to show you, I've actually done a tiny bit of the coding for us. All I've done is said that when the green flag is clicked, that each item should show, which means it should appear on our screen, and it should go to a certain position. So these coordinates describe where the glass of water is, and we know we're working on the code for the water because the water's here. If I click on Giga, it's exactly the same thing. We want Giga to show, we want Giga to go to a certain position, and also we want to start with costume Giga A. We don't want his other costume. So that's important as well. If you're going to be playing around with costumes, you need to say when the green flag is clicked, and watch Giga when this happens, Giga switches back to his original costume. Again, bed, when the green flag is clicked, it shows and it goes to those coordinates. If I move the bed somewhere else, you can see that the coordinates here go to 85 minus 118 have changed. So you can drag in the new coordinates and put those instead. So if I decided I wanted the bed there, I would use these new coordinates, but I'm going to chuck that block away and leave the bed back where it was. I'm going to press the green flag and it pings back to the beginning. So whenever you add a new sprite, you need to tell it where it needs to start. So it's really good practice to do that, because then if it ends up moving around during the game or during the animation, it will always go back to the beginning when they play again. Okay, great. Oh, and this writing as well, I actually, rather than making it part of the background, I just did that as a sprite as well. So if I wanted to, I could make it hide and show and all sorts of things. But I'm probably just going to leave it there throughout the game. The only other thing just to mention about these, I also changed the size of things. So the radio, for example, you can see it's size 50. So it's only half of what it started off. So they all start as size 100. So this is how big the radio was to begin with. I'll change it back to 100. It was that big and I decided that looked too big. So I just changed it to 50. So you can always change the size of any sprites that you add as well. Okay, we're going to talk about variables next. So if you have a look on the left here where it says variables and click on it, variables are basically things that you measure. And for Giga, we want to measure certain things to find out how happy Giga is. So if I click on Giga, because we don't want to see the variables for the radio, we want to see the variables for Giga, you'll see that I've already put these variables in to save you a little bit of time. So we might want to measure Giga's cleanliness, we might want to measure Giga's energy, we might want to measure Giga's hunger, his mood, his thirst, and we also want to measure the time. So I've added in a timer here. If you wanted to measure something else, for example, happiness, all you do is click Make a Variable, you type in the name of what your variable is going to be, and you say who it's for. Are we measuring the happiness of all the sprites or just this sprite? So I'm going to choose just Giga and press OK. And you can see that happiness appears, and it automatically appears on the screen as well. But if you don't want it there, you just untick it. And if you decided you didn't want it after all, you can also right click and delete the happiness variable. Okay, brilliant. So that's the variables, and now we've got those variables, we're able to work with them, and you should have these too if you're using my templates that was in the studio. Okay, so let's begin programming with some of our variables now. As you've already gathered, this is the area where we put our code together. So these are our blocks of, well, the code's embedded within the blocks. So these are our blocks that we put together to create algorithms. Algorithms are the sequences of instructions that our sprites over here have to follow. So at the moment, we're looking at Giga's algorithms, so the instructions that Giga needs to follow. And this one here, when the green flag is clicked, this is the event that normally says the game is beginning, or the animation is beginning, or whatever you're creating. And you can have more than one thing happening at the same time when the green flag is clicked. So I could have another event when the green flag is clicked, something else is also happening. So this is happening, but something else is also happening with Giga. So it's quite useful sometimes to have things alongside each other because it's easier than one massive long list. It depends what you're working on. Now, what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is have a look at which variables we want to use. So if I go back to the variables again, let's just pick which variables we're going to focus on for this tutorial. Let's go for Giga's hunger. We're going to show Giga's hunger. We're going to select Giga's thirst. So if Giga's thirsty, and let's also go for, I'm just thinking which one would be good, hunger, thirst, and let's go for the shower as well. Let's go for cleanliness. Okay, so we've got three different variables showing up here. Okay, and obviously when you're programming this yourself, you may want to also do some of the others later on, but for now, so that we're not here for too long, let's just focus on three of them. Okay, and also the timer, I've already clicked on that, so the timer should be displayed there at the bottom. So we need to decide what we want our variables to say to begin with. So we're going to say when the green flag is clicked, we're going to set each variable to a certain measurement. So I'm going to put all three of them like that, actually all four of them because we're doing the timer as well. So we're going to say when the green flag is clicked, we want Giga's cleanliness, so how clean he is, to be 10 at the beginning. We want Giga's hunger to be on 10, and we want Giga's thirst to be on 10. So he starts off with a level of 10, and then we want to set the timer to 0. Okay, so that's the very first thing. So when I press the green flag now, you can see that these values have changed to show that he's got a full amount of hunger, cleanliness, and thirst, and the timer is on 0. And then what we want to happen is as the timer goes up, he gets more hungry, so his hunger level goes down. He gets more thirsty, so his thirst level goes down, and he gets more dirty, so his cleanliness level goes down. And then to bring those levels back up again, you click on whatever it is that Giga needs. So let's set that so that these now change with the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another sequence that happens. We're going to say when the green flag is clicked again, so we're going to do another one. and we need a loop because we want this to carry on happening. So we're going to say forever change, let's say change, go for the change one, and let's put all of them in here again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got all 4 variables. So we're going to say when the green flag is clicked, we want them to forever change by 1, and then we want them to wait before they change again. Okay, so we're going to select a wait block. Let's put the wait block, let's put a wait right at the beginning. So when Giga's introducing himself, which we'll set up at which we'll set up in a moment. Okay, so when Giga's introducing himself, we could be waiting for say 3 seconds, and then we want all of his variables to change. So we want his cleanliness to go down by 1, so we change that to -1. We want his hunger to go down by 1, so we make that -1, and we want Giga's thirst to go down by 1, so we make that -1. Okay, so cleanliness, hunger and thirst are all going to go down by 1, and the timer is going to go up by 1. Okay, so the timer is going up and all of these things are going down. Now it may be that you want them to go at a slightly different level. So actually let's pull the timer out of there, because we may want the timer to go up more quickly than these go down. So I'm going to put this in its own loop. So we'll have another forever block there for the timer. Let's just let's just pop that in its own one. So let's get another green flag. When the green flag is clicked, and again we'll say wait for a few seconds before this. Do you know what? Actually, yeah, let's say wait for a few seconds before the timer goes up. Let's say wait for 3 seconds, and then the timer is going to start going up, and all of these things are going to start going down. Now, how quickly they go up and down is going to depend on how long we put a wait in between. So if I go to Control and choose Wait again, and I put a little wait at the bottom, what the loop's going to do is it's going to say forever, change all of these things by -1, then wait for a second, then change them by -1 again, then wait for a second, then change them by -1 again, and that will carry on going forever because it's in a forever block. That's created a loop. And actually, if I click the green flag now, let's see if that actually starts doing it. So it's 3 seconds. So now you can see these are going down quite quickly because they're only waiting for 1 in between. And this is going up so fast because there's no wait in it. So it waited 3 seconds at the beginning, and then it says forever change timer by 1. So it's just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's keeping, it goes up by 1 continuously. So we need to put a wait in there so that the timer doesn't go up too quickly. So I'm going to put a little 2-second wait in there. Let's check the timer now and see if that looks more sensible. So 1, 2, 3, and then it starts. There you go. So now that's moving at quite a good speed, I think. You can see that the number's changing here. If you wanted the timer to go up more quickly, you can make the wait shorter. If you want the timer to go up more slowly, you can make the wait longer. You can always play around with this at the end. And then for these ones, because we want them to go down, I think they're going down a little bit too quickly for you to be able to do all of the things that you need to do for Giga. So you might want to make the wait again a little bit longer in between. So if I set the wait for say like 3 seconds, let's see what that looks like. So press the green flag. So 3 seconds at the beginning, nothing's going to happen, and then everything starts. And I'm just going to watch what happens now. Let's see whether these get to 0 first or whether this gets to 30 first. I'm just going to watch them for a moment. And then you'll see whether you would naturally win or naturally lose. So it looks like all of these are going to get to 0 before this has got to 30, which means that, which is what we want. It means that if you don't meet Giga's needs, if you don't do these things like feed Giga, give Giga a drink, or shower Giga, then Giga will get to 0 and you won't get to adopt him. It will be game over. If the timer gets to 30 and you've managed to keep all of these things above 0, then you get to adopt Giga. So I think the timing at the moment is absolutely fine. If you added in more variables, so if you also added in energy and mood, and you had more things to look after, you might want the time. You might want the time to go. You might want their level to go down more slowly, so that you've got time to be able to do all of these different things for Giga. But it's always worth watching with doing nothing to see whether you would naturally win or naturally lose. If you would naturally win, so if this would get to 30 before these have got to 0, then it wouldn't be much of a game because you would win by doing nothing. So you want it so that you have to do something to win. Now let's make it so that we can tell the person whether they've won or whether they've lost the game. So to do this, we're going to be using background changes. So if you click on stage here, and then at the top you click backdrops. Again, I've done these already just to make it a little bit quicker, but I will talk to you about how I did it. So this one, start, this is the one I had at the beginning. This is just a plain background. This one that I've called end, it says you did not meet all of Giga's needs for 30 seconds, so you cannot adopt him. Click the green flag to play again. And you can see what it looks like over here. And then this one, party, it says, hooray, well done for meeting Giga's needs. You can adopt Giga. Now, you might want to come back and make these more fancy at some point, or play around with them. But for now, this is fine, just so that we can actually focus on the programming rather than the designing for today. Again, same as when you're looking at editing costumes, you can edit your backdrops using all of these tools here. So this is the text tool. You can change the color of your text. You can change the size of your text. You can rub out things that you've done. You can add in squares, circles, lines. Select allows you to click things and just move them slightly. And obviously, like I say, you can resize things until you're happy with it. To be able to do this background with the balloons, what I actually did is I selected choose a backdrop. I chose the one with the balloons, and then I wrote over the top of the balloons with the text icon. So let's say this time I wanted the heart, for example. You can then click on text and you can write over the top, you win, or whatever it was that you wanted to type. So that's how you would go about doing your own background. For this you lose one, I just kept it blank and worked on a blank one. So if you wanted to get a new blank one, you just choose a backdrop and go to paint, and then don't do it, and then just do whatever you want to on it. If you don't want to use a backdrop, you can just get rid of it. And you can also rename your backdrops up here. And it's really important that the names are easy to remember and written simply, so that when you're putting these names in your code and you have to type them later on, you remember what they say. So I'm just going to delete that one. Okay, now I don't want to work on the code for my backdrops. I want to work on the code for Giga. But within Giga's code, we're going to talk about the backdrops. So go back to Giga, click on his code. And what we're going to do is we're going to say what happens when the variables get to 0, or when the timer variable gets to 30. So again, I'm going to do another event that starts when the green flag is clicked. I'm just going to move these ones up out the way. You can make these bigger and smaller. So if you're running out of room, just make them smaller, or you can make them bigger. I'll have them quite big so that you can see them. You can always pause the tutorial if you're not keeping up with this. Okay, so let's put in these other two. So let's go for events when the green flag is clicked, because that's this is like our activator button. This activates the game, and it activates all these different sets of instructions to happen at the same time. So we're going to say when the green flag is clicked, and then I'm going to use a forever block again. We use this a lot. The forever block is great because it means you always want it to happen. And then we're going to use this block called if and then. This is a conditional statement block. If something, happens, then something else happens. So we're going to pop that in there. And what we're going to say is we're going to say if the timer gets to 30, then the backdrop changes to you win. So we need to say if the if the timer equals 30. Now, to be able to do a sum like equals, we need to go to operators, and you can see there's one called equals. So we can pop that in there. So we can say if timer equals 30, then change the backdrop to you win. So let's go to variables, and then we're going to go to timer and pull that across. So now it says if timer equals 30, you might not want yours to be a 30-second challenge. You might want it to be a 40 or a 50-second challenge or a minute challenge, but I'm going for a 30-second one. So forever, if timer equals 30, then, and then I'm going to go to looks, and you'll see there's one called switch backdrop, and it's already got the right one for me, switch backdrop to party, but you can select from whichever backdrop you wanted, so it's party. Now, what's going to happen now is my backdrop will switch to party, but I also need the backdrop to go back to the original backdrop if you play the game again. And at the moment, we haven't programmed that. So you also need to say switch backdrop right at the beginning. So when the green flag is clicked, we want the backdrop to go to the start backdrop, which was the plain white one. But forever, if the timer gets to 30, we want to switch the backdrop to party. Okay, so let's try that out. So I'm going to press green flag, and you're just going to watch the timer here, and it's going to go up to 30, and then our backdrop should switch to the party backdrop. So you can just be programming this little section here if you're following along whilst we're waiting for the timer to go up. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set it so that when all of these variables reach 0, that it switches to the game over screen. Okay, so that's going to be a very similar set of code to this one. If I wanted my timer to go up a little bit more quickly than this and I couldn't be bothered to wait, I could just get the timer to not wait 2 seconds in between going up. So I could have done that actually, just to be a little bit quicker, and then change it back afterwards. But we're almost there now. 28, 29. There we go. And the backdrop has changed. Okay, good. Which is what we wanted. Now you might be thinking, oh, it looks really busy. That's because we've got to tell everything to hide, but we'll do that in a moment. So let's now set it. Let's try pressing stop. I'm just going to press the green flag again, and you can see the backdrop did switch back to the start one. I'm going to press stop though, because I don't want it to keep going for a moment. And I'm going to right click on this block that we've just done, and I'm going to say duplicate. That means I want the same block. So I'm just going to put that there and move down so you can see it. So this time, we've already told it to switch backdrop to start, so I can actually get rid of that. I don't need to do that bit again. This time, we're not going to just say if timer equals 30. We're going to say if hunger, variables. I'm going to say if hunger equals 0, then switch backdrop to end. Okay, so when the hunger gets to 0, we're going to switch the backdrop to end. Okay, so now we're going to do that for the other variables as well. So we've said that when hunger equals 0, we switch the backdrop to end, but we don't want it to be just for hunger. We want it to be for all the others as well, if any of them say it. And we can actually make this all part of the same block by using the OR operator. So if we go to here, can you see there's one that says OR? So we can pull this one out for a moment and stick it in here. So we can now say if hunger equals 0, or take this equals 1 again. Oh, there we go, pop it in there. Or if, let's choose the variable thirst. So if hunger equals 0, or if thirst equals 0, then we want to switch backdrop to end. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, but we've got more than 2. That's right, we've got 3 variables that we're using at the moment. So if we go to operators again, take the OR one again, And what we're going to do is we're going to take this by the middle. If you try and take it by here, it just pulls out that side. Take it by the middle and pop it into there. Okay, I'm going to have to scroll along now to be able to move that, I think, because if I pull that, I'm going to pull it out. Oh, can I do it? No. Ah, it's a bit tricky to move. How do I scroll across here? Oh, that's not playing. Hold on, let's just move it across here so that we can pop it in. There we go. Oh, I could have made my whole screen smaller to move it. So if that happens again and it ends up, oh, see, I've done it again. That in there. If it ends up over here, you can always just make your screen small and then just try and pull it from above the or like that. Get big again. So now we've got if hunger equals 0 or thirst equals 0, or let's get the other one, pop that in there, pull that along a little bit so I've got room, or sorry, variables cleanliness equals 0. So we're saying if any of those equal 0, then we want to switch the backdrop to end. And if you used all of the variables, so if you'd also done mood and energy, this would be a really long chain here, which is why for now, while you're learning how to set it up, I thought we'd just work with 3 variables to keep it simple. Okay, so if hunger or thirst or cleanliness equals 0, switch the backdrop to end. And because we're not working with the bed and we're not working with the shower, with the radio, we can just make those hide for now and not show at all. And then if you want to add them in later, you can. So what we might do, at the moment it says when the green flag is clicked, show and go to this position. Instead of that, I'm just going to get rid of the show block and I'm going to put a hide in there because we're not working with the bed at the moment. So let's just find the block that says hide. It's under looks because we're talking about the way it looks. And then we'll do exactly the same thing for now, just with the radio, just so that it's not confusing for you when you're looking at it, that you've got all these extra things on there. So let's do that. So when the green flag is clicked, hide. So now if I press the green flag, those things have disappeared. Now you might be thinking, oh, now that looks a bit rubbish though, because these are in weird positions. You can always move them around. So if I wanted to put my shower here and my water here, for example, I just need to change the coordinates. So if I go to my shower, instead of saying go to where it was earlier, get rid of that and choose the new coordinates, go to, and that's where it is now. So when the green flag is clicked, it will show and go to there. And the same for the water, because we just moved that slightly. We're going to say when the green flag is clicked, show, and just go to where it is now. Okay. So that's those ones set up. Okay, let's just switch back to our code now. So go back to Giga. Now we've got to check this bit of code that we've just done works. So we've said when the green flag is clicked, forever, if any of these variables get to 0, we want the backdrop to switch to end. So let's press the green flag and watch them get to 0 and then see whether the backdrop switches correctly to end. Now I haven't said switch backdrop to start at the beginning because we've got that here already. So hopefully it already knows that we want the backdrop to switch. So we can check that as well. So it's going down 3, 2, 1 and 0. And you can see that the correct backdrop has come up. So now let's just try pressing that green flag and just check that the backdrop switches again. And it does. Okay, so now we're going to make it so that Giga reacts when we click on these different items or different sprites, and we're also going to make the sprites move to Giga. So let's start off by doing the movement first of all of the items. So when we click on the shower, it moves to Giga and back. When we click on the food, it moves to Giga and back. And when we click on the water, it moves to Giga and back. So if we go to the fruit salad, there's a really simple event, not when the green flag is clicked, but an event that says when this sprite is clicked. So if we go to when this sprite is clicked, we're talking about the fruit salad here because you can see it in the corner and we've clicked on it down here. So we're saying when this sprite or this fruit salad is clicked, we want it to move. Now, the easiest way to get the coordinates for where we want it to move to is to actually move it. So if we drag it down here to Giga and put it just in front of him, we want it touching Giga because we're going to make Giga react to touching the fruit salad. So we're going to put it just underneath him there where it's touching his body. And if I go to motion, I can choose these coordinates. So we're saying when the when the fruit salad is clicked, it's going to go to Giga. Then we want it to play a sound, like a munchy sound, because Giga's going to eat it. So we could put that in here. Let's go to costumes. Let's go to sounds, And you can see I've already chosen the chomp sound here. If you can't see the chomp sound, you can always click down here to choose a sound. There's also a sound called bite, which sounds similar, but you click on choose sound. I'll show you how to do it anyway. You can play the different sounds. So if I wanted to choose bite, I'd go to effects, and it's under effects. You can see that there's one called bite. So if you wanted that one, you just click it. Oh, what happened there? Oh, somehow I clicked on shower. Let me just go back to fruit salad. So now you can see I've got the choice of chomp and bite. So I could use either of these in my blocks or in my programming. So I'm going to go back to code, and I'm going to click on sound, and I'm going to say play sound bite until done, or I could have play sound chomp until done. So let's see what that looks like first. Press the green flag to go, and then I'm going to click on the fruit salad. Oh, sorry, not click on it down there. Click on it on the screen on the game, and you can see the fruit salad moved to here. It made a chomp noise, and then we want it to go back to here. Now, if you think, oh, that was a little bit short, that chomp noise, you might want it to do it several times. So what you could do is use a control block, and you could say repeat that chomp noise. So it's a bit like a forever loop, but it doesn't go on forever. It just goes on. It's a loop that only goes on for a certain amount of time. So we could say 5 times we want it to do this. So let's try that. So click on the green flag to put it back to the beginning. Click on the bowl. Yeah, that sounded good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He chomped 5 times. And then I want my bowl to whiz back over here again. And I know what the coordinates are that I want him to go to because they're here. So I could just duplicate this block, pull that block off. So we want him to go to Giga, play the chomping noise 5 times, and then go back to where it started. So let's try that out again. Press the green flag. Press the bowl. Okay, so it goes there, 5 chomps, and then goes back up there. So that's perfect. Then in a minute we're going to make Giga do something as well. Should we do that now? Let's click on Giga. So what we're going to do, we're going to tell Giga that if he's touching the fruit salad, we want him to change his costume. And if we go to costumes, you will see that Giga number, let's go down, Giga C has got the hands up at the mouth. So this is a really good one for eating. So if I go back to the code, we're going to make another conditional statement. You're going to get really good at doing these. So we're going to go to events. When the green flag is clicked, control, forever, because we always want it to happen when the fruit salad is touching Giga. And then we're going to go for the if and then, but I think we're also going to have the else in there, and I'll show you why we need the else with this one. So go to sensing next and see where it says touching mouse pointer. If you choose that one, but we don't want to say forever if touching mouse pointer, we want to say forever if touching the fruit salad, which is what that bowl of food is called. So we're going to say forever if touching fruit salad, then what do we want Giga to do? We want Giga to switch costume. So go to looks. We want him to switch costume to Giga C. Else, which means otherwise. So if he's not touching the fruit salad, we want it to switch back to costume A. So let's try that out now. So green flag, press the fruit salad. You can see his arms have gone up, the bowl's gone back, and he's gone back to costume A. Okay, so we've programmed Giga and we've programmed the fruit salad. And the chomping noise could have gone in the programming for Giga because it's actually Giga that's chomping, or it could have gone on the programming for the fruit salad. It doesn't really matter because we can't see where the noise is coming from. It really makes no difference. And as there's a lot of code on here already, I decided to put the sound on the fruit salad one. So let's do the water next. Click on the glass of water. So again, we're going to do an event, but it's not when the green flag is clicked, it's when this sprite is clicked. This time we're talking about when the water is clicked. And again, we want the water to move. So we can go to motion, and the easiest way to line the water up with where we want it is to move it. And I'm going to move it to Giga's hands. So it just actually a little bit up. Let's have it near his mouth. There we go. So I'm putting my water there. So it's going to look like it's near Giga's mouth. And then I'm going to get those coordinates and put those there. Okay, lovely. Press the green flag and the water goes back. And now I've got my starting coordinates again. I don't want the water just to go there and back. I want a sound to play in the middle. If we weren't putting a sound in the middle, we could just put a wait block in the middle. So the water goes there, you wait for however many seconds, and then the water goes back. But we're going to make the wait dependent on the sound. So now we need a sound for the water. So you click on sounds. I've already chosen, well, I say I've already chosen slurp. This is actually my daughter's making this slurp noise. I'll show it to you. So they didn't have, when I clicked on choose a sound, I couldn't find a really good drinking noise. You might want to have another look for that. So we recorded our own. So you can see where it says record. You can actually record a sound and then name it whatever you want. So to make it easier for you, we've already done that. We've recorded a sound called slurp that we can use. So go back to code. It's already there. So go to sound. And you can see here, play sound slurp until done. And again, we might want Giga to take more than one mouthful. So you might want a repeat block. This is completely up to you. So let's go to control. I'm going to add it in anyway. I'm going to get him to slurp. Oh, put the go to after the repeat block. So I'm going to get him to slurp, let's say twice. Okay, so let's try that out now. Green flag. Click the water. Oh no. Okay, so I've got the coordinates slightly wrong there. Okay, so I need to just move these coordinates. I'm going to pull the water down here. I'm going to get those. Oh no, it's my going back coordinates. Where did I get these ones from? Oh, it's because I haven't told it to go back. Right, let's get rid of those coordinates. Let's duplicate my beginning coordinates from here. Duplicate and put those underneath. So, okay, and then it went back, but it wasn't in quite the right place. Whenever you're doing programming, you will find that sometimes things don't go to plan. Even if you're following a tutorial or you've done it before, things don't always work out the first time. And it's all about trial and error. You try something out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, what can you do to change it? And this is called debugging. How can you debug the code and change it to make it work? So don't be afraid to try things out, and if things go wrong, to try again. That's absolutely fine. The more you practice, the better you get. And there's also more than one way of doing things with programming. So you might find afterwards that the programming we've done here is slightly different to the programming that I did in the other game or the other virtual pet challenge earlier on, because each time you do it, you might find a slightly different way of putting the blocks together. But as long as it works, then that's great. And then when you get really experienced in Scratch or any type of programming, then you learn the most effective way of doing something, or the most efficient way. So there might be a better way of putting the blocks together so that it looks less messy. But for now, whilst we're learning about the basics of programming, do whatever works and have fun with it. Okay, so I'm just going to press stop a minute. And press, I need to change where that water goes to. So I'm going to bring the water, because I've clicked on it, it did that. I actually want these coordinates. So I'm going to let go of it here. This It's not letting me. Let's press stop. Put my water here. You know what? Okay, so let's minus 75, minus 119. So let's just change those. Minus 75, minus 119. Okay, let's try that now, see if that's better. Green flag, and then press the water. Oh, it's too low. Pull it up a little bit. Let's see where that is. Minus 112 it says. Let's change that. Minus 112. I want to get the positioning just right. So press stop. Press the green flag. Let's try it again. Press the water. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. Okay, now I need to program it so that Giga opens his mouth to drink. So I'm going to go back to Giga. To make it easier, I'm going to duplicate this block that we did a minute ago. So right click and duplicate. So you can change it. So instead of saying if touching fruit salad, you can say if touching glass of water. And then if we're touching the glass of water, again, you've got a drop down here. We're going to switch to costume 2. And I don't know which costume yet. So I'm going to go on to costumes. Is there one with his mouth open? Let's have a look. Is it B? Let's have a look. Yeah, B's got his mouth open. So we can say, go back to code. So we can say, if touching the glass of water, switch costume to Giga B. Otherwise, or else, switch costume back to Giga A. So press the green flag. Let's try it out. There we go, lovely. So that works. Okay, so now the last variable that we're going to have a go at programming in this tutorial is the shower. And then you can always have a go at, if you wanted to, showing the radio and the bed and changing costumes and adding in effects if you want to. But for now, let's just focus on these 3. So let's do the shower next. So I'm going to click on the shower. And what I want to happen is when the shower is clicked, I want it to move above Giga's head. So we're going to go to events. We're going to say when this sprite is clicked, and you can see we're talking about the shower because we've got the shower here. When this sprite is clicked, we want it to go to, let's move it to where we want it to go to. I'm going to make it so that, see this shower's in a kind of box, a white box when you move it. You want that box to touch Giga's hair because otherwise you can't get Giga to change costumes. Although you might not want Giga to change costumes for the shower. You might want Giga just to stand still while he's having his shower. It's completely up to you whether you want to choose a different costume or just keep Giga the same. So I might keep Giga the same for this one and change the look of the shower. But touch the Giga's hair a little bit if you want Giga to change, because then you can use the sensing block on Giga. So I'm going to put the shower there. I'm going to select motion and go to. So when this sprite is clicked, I want it to go to minus 90, minus 84, which is where it is now. No, it's not. Oh, it didn't move it. It didn't change it. Maybe it's because the green flag's not clicked. So can you see it says here, minus 86, 60. That's what it should say in here. Let's change that. Minus 86 and 60. I think that's why it didn't work last time. Okay, let's just check that. So green flag, press the shower. Yes, it goes to there. Okay, press stop again. Okay, then what we want is the shower to, we're actually going to get the shower to change costume, not Giga. So we need to do this programming here. Let's look at the shower's costumes. You'll remember at the beginning I showed you the different costumes. This shower, and I just did this shower as well, but you can just use 2 of them. It's up to you, or you can use all 3. So if I go back to code, what you can do is you can say control, and we're going to repeat some costume changes. So let's go to looks and switch costume to, oh, actually, there's one called next costume. Let's just do that one. Okay, so 10 times I want the shower to move to the next costume. So let's show you what happens. If I click the green flag and then click on the shower. Okay, you saw it flash there. 10 times obviously wasn't enough for Oh no, do you know what it is? It's because we need to put a little weight in between costumes. Otherwise it does it so quickly that you can't see it. So let's go to control, get a little weight block, and between each costume we're going to have a really small weight. Let's say about 0.2 of a second, so not 2 seconds in between, otherwise the shower will switch really slowly. Just go for 0.2. It stands for 0.2 seconds. That's like 1/5 of a second. So let's try that. So press the green flag, click on the shower. Okay, and you can see now the shower's flashing. 10 times seemed about right. And then I want it to go back to the beginning. So right click there, duplicate, and put those coordinates there. So now press the green flag, click the shower. It changes its costume 10 times, then it goes back to the beginning. Okay, and it doesn't really matter what costume it ends up on. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we need to add the sound for the shower to our coding here. So what we're going to do, we click on the sound button, and you can see it's got play sound ripples until done. Let's just pop that under our repeat 10 times, and let's see what happens with that. So press the green flag, press the shower. Okay, now unfortunately it's doing them one at a time. It's doing this and then it's doing this. Okay, so that's not what we want to happen. So I'm going to take this out. Let's put this in a conditional statement that says if touching Giga, forever play sound ripples until done. And that way we know that the sound will play for as long as the shower is touching Giga. So let's do that. Let's go to events and say when the green flag is clicked, control, forever, we need this if and then block. We're going to say if touching Giga. Who can remember where the touching block was? That's right, it's in sensing. So we're going to go to sensing, and we're going to say if touching, and choose Giga. There we go. You could do this in Giga's programming and say if touching shower, play the sound ripples, but we're just doing it this way around. Put the forever around the edge of that. So forever if touching Giga, then play the sound ripples until done. So hopefully that sound should now play while the shower's touching Giga. Let's try that. Press the green flag, press the shower. Okay, yeah, that was good. That worked. Okay, great. So now we've done that part, we also need to say what happens to these variables when the shower moves, or when the food moves, or when the drink moves. Because at the moment these are just carrying on going down and down and down. So we need to reset them to 10 every time you click on one of these things. So let's go to variables. Now the variables don't appear at the moment on the under shower because they're Giga's variables. It's Giga's hunger and Giga's thirst and Giga's cleanliness. So we just need to switch to Giga, and we can see the variables now for Giga. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's say if touching, we could do it here actually because we've already got a couple of conditional statements. So we've got if touching fruit salad, switch to Giga C. So we could then set that variable as well. So let's go to set hunger to 10. So what we're now saying is if Giga is touching the food, it switches its costume to its eating costume and the hunger changes to 10. Let's just double check that. So green flag. I'm just going to wait and let it go down for a minute. So that it's already gone down to 9. If I click on the bowl of food, Giga eats, and you saw the hunger went up to 10. It's carried on going straight back down, which is what we want. Let's add this over here. We've got if touching glass of water, then something happens. So here we can go to not change, set the thirst level back up to 10. Okay. If touching glass of water, then switch costume and change thirst to 10. So let's test that as well. Click the water. and thirst has gone back up to 10. Lovely. And then we don't have a conditional statement on Giga at the moment for if touching the shower, because we did it the other way around on the shower, if touching Giga. So we need to make one here. We don't need the bit with the else in it though, so I'm just going to do it from scratch. So I'm going to say events, when the green flag is clicked, forever, if then, pop that in there. As I say, you're probably getting used to this now. So we're going to say if, and then sensing, touching, shower. Where is it? There it is, shower. If touching shower, then, and click on variables. If touching shower, then set cleanliness to 10. So his level of cleanness goes up. Cleanliness. There we go. Lovely. Let's try that as well. Let's click the shower. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Hold on. Let the shower cleanliness go down. It's on 9. Oh yeah, there you go. It did work. It's gone up to 10. Okay, sometimes it's worth clicking the green flag again just to start it over to make sure that you've activated it, because we did say when the green flag is clicked, then it should work. So don't just expect it to work if you've then not clicked the green flag. Okay, so it's always worth clicking the green flag to restart the game. Let's shower him again. Yeah, definitely works. Goes back up to 10. Okay, good. Now, as you'll notice at the moment that the background's changed, like the game's over, because these all this one's on -3, but all these things are still showing. So what we need to do next is we need to make it so that when the game's over, all of these things disappear and that they're not on the screen anymore. So we need to make them hide basically. So on Giga, it's again, we need another conditional statement, and it's one of these ones with the if and or else. So what we can do is just duplicate this one. So I'm going to take that and pop it here and move down so that you can see it. Okay, so it's not a sensing block this time. We're not going to say if, I'm just going to get rid of all of these bits in it. So you've just got when the green flag is clicked, forever, if something, then something else, something else. I know it sounds confusing, but you'll get it when we fill it in. So this time we're going to say if the backdrop is the party backdrop, then we want Giga to hide. So if I go to operators, because we need the equals, and then I need the backdrop name, which is under looks. So I'm going to say if, where's backdrop name? Let's find it. Here we go, backdrop. It says backdrop number, but you can just change that to name. So we can say if backdrop name equals, and I remember it's called party, our winning screen. And we want the same thing to happen with the losing backdrop. So we can use that or one. You remember when we did that before? So we were going to make an extra long one. So we're going to say if backdrop name equals party, or if backdrop name equals, and the other one was called not party, it was called end. So if backdrop name equals party, or if backdrop name, let's get backdrop name again, it's here, or I could just duplicate this part. Oh, hang on, not the whole block, just that bit, duplicate. There we go. So if backdrop name equals party, or if backdrop name equals end, pop that in there. So again, when you move it by this middle part. If you try and move it by that, it won't work. So we're going to pop that into there. Okay, so when the green flag is clicked, forever, if the backdrop name equals party or the backdrop name equals end, then we want Giga to hide. So we need to go to looks and choose hide. And then we can say else, which means otherwise, we want Giga to show. Okay, so we want Giga to show unless the backdrop is one of these names. And we actually want that to be the same for the glass of water, the fruit salad, and the shower. This very same bit of programming. So what you can do is just drag it on top of the glass of water and let go. drag it on top of the fruit salad, and you can see it wobbles, so you know you've got the right place, and let go. And I'm going to put it on top of the shower and oh, hang on, that's not the shower, that's the shower. Oh, there you go, shower and let go. And actually, I can have it on top of that writing. That's the select what you want to do for Giga. So I'm going to put that there as well. Okay, there we go. Let's test that that's actually worked. So we're going to click the green flag. And we're just going to let these go down to 0 so that the background changes, and hopefully Giga, the shower, the food and the water should all disappear because we've dragged it onto, oh, and this writing as well, because we've dragged it onto all of those objects, this piece of code. It says when the green flag is clicked, forever if the backdrop name is party or the backdrop name is end, hide, otherwise show. There we go, so they've hidden. And now if I click the green flag, they should reappear, which they have. So now we're going to build, okay, so now we're going to build on this piece of code, because you'll have noticed that what actually happened was that these variables were still there. So everything else disappeared, but not the variables. And we want these to disappear as well. And the easiest way to do it is to click on the variables tab, and you'll see that there's one that says show variable and one that says hide variable. And because the variables belong to Giga, we can put it in Giga's code. So I'm on Giga, and in this code that we've just written, we can now add in whether we want the variables to hide and show. So let's put in these hide variables. We've got 3 different variables at the top here, actually 4 if you include timer. Let's include timer. So I want 4 hide variables. So I'm just going to pop them together. It's like doing a jigsaw. You've got to make sure you pop it in the right place. There we go. Okay, so if the backdrop name equals party or the backdrop name equals end, then hide. That means Giga's got to hide. But we also want to hide the variable cleanliness. We want to hide the variable hunger. We want to hide the variable thirst. And we want to hide the variable timer. Otherwise, or else, it means the same as if that's not the case, we want Giga to show. And it's the same for all the others. So then if the backdrop wasn't party or end, so if the backdrop was start or whatever else, we would want these things to show again. So then we're going to press show, variable cleanliness, show, variable hunger, thirst and timer. So I'm just going to pop those in. Cleanliness, hunger, thirst and timer. Now I don't need to drag this onto these other objects because the variables are only Gigas. They just belong to Giga. So those variable, this programming for the variables just needs to go in Giga's code. So let's test that out again now. So I'm going to press the green flag. While you're testing this and you're waiting for your timer to go up or for these to go down, let's let the timer go up this time. Let's just test all of these things that we've programmed again. So I'm going to click on the shower. I've managed to get his cleanliness up to 10. Let's click on the food. And the food's gone back up to 10. Thirsty, quick, click on the thirst. Yeah, and that's gone up again. So I've got to make sure none of these get too low. So cleanliness is the lowest. Let's shower again. Now hunger's getting low. Quick, give Giga some food. Thirst is getting low. And if these were going down quickly, it would be more challenging to keep up with it. So you decide how quickly you want these variables to go down. Obviously, if you had the radio and the bed and you had to also worry about his mood or his energy levels, you wouldn't want them to go down too quickly. Oh, hang on, am I going to run out? Oh no, don't lose just before the end. Yes, I've done it. Okay, and you can see that all of those things, the variables, oh no, why did it do that? It switched. I was going to say you can see that all of those variables disappeared. Unfortunately, they do then carry on. The needs do then carry on going down. So after it says you've won, it then the needs got to 0 and it switched it to this. So we might need to just make a change for that. Let's just do something else that says if the backdrop name equals party, or the backdrop name equals end, then let's change the variable number. Let's do that quickly. I'm going to put it in, let's change the number to like 100 points, and that way you know that it would say you've won for ages. So I'm just going to put a really high number. Let's go for 100. 100, 100, and 100. And we're going to have cleanliness, hunger, thirst, and timer. Okay, good. Let's try this out and see if it works. So green flag. Okay, so this time we'll let the timer go up and see whether it's going to work. So the only problem with just hiding the variables was the variables carried on going up or going down. So I'm trying to solve that by just changing the variable if the backdrop changes. So if the backdrop changes, you can see we lost, we didn't meet all of Giga's needs, and the backdrop hasn't changed back to party because the timer is hiding, and the timer went up to 100, which means that the timer can't get to 30. That's fine. Okay, so that works. Let's try it the other way around now. So press the green flag, and this time we're going to let the timer get to 30 and try and meet all of Giga's needs. So I'm going to feed Giga, shower Giga, give Giga a drink. Oh, Giga's enjoying himself. I hope I get to adopt Giga. Shower Giga. Got to keep going for 30 seconds. We're doing well. Now in my other game, I also programmed it so that if the cleanliness, the hunger, or the thirst were less than 3, Giga would tell you, like, I'm hungry or I'm thirsty. So that's something else that you can program using the operator. There's a less than and more than operator. So we can say if hunger is less than 3, say I'm hungry. Oh, here we go. Yes. Hooray, well done for meeting Giga's needs. You can adopt Giga. And all of these things, the cleanliness, the hunger, the thirst, will have gone up to 100, which means that unless you're going to sit here for ages looking at this winning screen, you think, great, I've won the game, and you'll come out of it. Okay, brilliant. So this game pretty much is sorted now. Obviously, as I say, you may want to go back and add in things like the radio playing music and get Giga to dance by switching costumes. You may want to use the bed and get Giga to sleep again by switching costumes on the bed. Doing exactly the same that we've just done. So that's a challenge for you. And as I say, you can also get Giga to say, I'm hungry or I'm thirsty. Let me just show you how to do it for one of those things so that you've seen it. Let's click the green flag just to go back to the beginning and press stop for a minute. I'll show you for one of those things. So let's say when the green flag is clicked, I've just found a little gap here that I'm going to use. Control, got the forever block, if then, and we go to operator, and can you see that there's a less than here? Less than, pop that in there. So we're going to say if hunger is less than 3, so let's go to variables and put hunger in there. So if Giga's hunger is less than 3, then we want Giga to say I'm hungry. So go to looks and choose say I'm hungry, maybe for 2 seconds or maybe even 1 second, it's up to you. I'm hungry. I might just make him say it really quickly, maybe for let's go for 1 second. Okay, let's try that out. So press the green flag. Let's let Giga's hunger go down. So I'm going to give Giga a shower. I'm going to give Giga a drink. I'm going to forget about Giga's hunger and we're going to let it go down. Let's give him another shower. Giga's busy in the shower. Oh, I've forgotten to feed Giga. And look what happens. 3. Oh no, do you know what? I forgot to press. Oh yes, no, it did work. I'm hungry. Okay, because it got to 2. It got to less than 3. That doesn't give you that much time to then quickly feed Giga. So you might want to say if less than 4, that means like if the level is 3 or below, then say I'm hungry. So you could do that if you want to. And if you want to duplicate this and do it for if thirst is less than 4 and if cleanliness is less than 4, you can duplicate it, and instead of I'm hungry, you can say I'm thirsty or I need a shower, whatever you want Giga to say. And that will help remind people if they're about to lose because they're not looking after one of Giga's needs, it will remind them to quickly do that thing. And the more things that you've got to do for Giga, the more difficult it is. If you go back and have a go at my other game where there's 5 things, it's a little bit more challenging to meet Giga's needs. Or you can make it so that the timer, you can make it so that the needs go down more quickly. So here where it says when the green flag is clicked, forever change cleanliness by -1, change hunger by -1, change thirst by -1, then wait 3 seconds before it changes again. You might want it to go down more quickly, so it only waits 2 seconds before it changes again, or it only waits 1 second before it changes again. And the reason we put this wait 3 seconds at the beginning before we started all this other stuff was because I thought you might want Giga to give a little welcome message. So we can just put that in, to be honest, under any of these green flags really, not these ones because we don't want it to wait and then say something. So let's put it on maybe this one. When the green flag is clicked, we want it to say something straight away. So let's get Giga to say hello. I'm going to put it after the switch costume and the show. Actually, do you know what? Let's put it at the bottom of this. So then we know Giga is he's showing the correct look, he's in the right place, at the right coordinates, and Giga's going to say hello, or hello, I hope you can adopt me, or something like that. I hope you can adopt me. Let's try that. I might make that a little exclamation mark there. Hello, I hope you can adopt me. Press the green flag to try it out. Hello, I hope you can adopt me. Okay, good. Okay, so that makes a nice start to the game, doesn't it? And it just reminds people what they've got to do. Okay, great. So well done if you've managed to follow this whole tutorial. I realise there's a whole load of code that we've done there. Oh, one last little thing. If it gets really messy and you want it all just in one big line, you can right click somewhere on the screen and say clean up blocks, and it just pops them all into one big line for you like this. So you might prefer them all just in one big line. I quite like sort of having them in the spaces, but it's completely up to you. And again, you might want to do the same on these because they've got a bit messy. So right click, clean up blocks. So just tidy up the blocks if you want to. You need to name your piece of work as well. So instead of virtual pet template, I'm going to call this virtual pet challenge tutorial. Actually, let's just call it challenge 2 because it's my second time of doing it. And then press save now, and that saves the project for you. Okay. And then if you wanted to, you could then go back to the Cartwheels and Creations Studio and add it there. Now, as I say, well done for following. If you enjoyed the tutorial today, make sure you check out our other tutorials, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get updated whenever we add something new. And yeah, well done. I hope to see you all again soon. Take care. Bye bye.